Hi, it's Fraser here from Unplug, and in this video I'm going to take you on a solo canoeing trip. I did up the Noosa Everglades on the beautiful Sunshine Coast of Queensland, Australia. I'm going to show you this magic little place in my backyard. I'm going to share some tips along the way, and we're even going to meet some wildlife. And then after that, I'm going to take you to a place that's going to blow your mind. But before we start all that, where's Harry's hut? Where are we actually doing this trip from? Well, this is Harry's hut. It's nothing very exciting. It's a fishing hut. And it's about an hour's drive off the Bruce Highway, and we're staying at campsite 4. So here I am getting my canoe in the water, nothing terribly exciting there. So let's show me falling out of the canoe and we can all have a laugh at that. But basically after a while I managed to get in the canoe and off I went, and this is the kind of place that you come to just unwind, to get away from everything and everybody. You don't see many people up here. And the place is just surreal. It's so calm. There's really not much that you can hear apart from birds, and you can just start to feel yourself wind down. Things start to slow down real fast. This is campsite 4. It's one of my favorite campsites along the Everglades, and that is because it has its own little private beach. There are other places you can pull over which have decks, but this is probably my favorite campsite. I also like campsite 1. If you like to go not so far up the Everglades and you can camp on a deck, that's campsite 1, but I'm going to campsite 4. Got my own little private beach. Very special indeed. So grab my stuff out of the canoe and going to make my way up. Let's show you what it looks like at campsite 4. So this is a terribly exciting part of the trip, but it's really just to show you that you need to carry your stuff probably about 80 odd meters. So having a large waterproof adventure bag certainly helps. Don't have to do so many trips down to the canoe. Also, if my canoe did capsize for any reason, all my stuff's going to be safe. Now, I'm not going to show you everything that I brought. That'd make a pretty boring video. I took way more stuff than you would absolutely need, but I like to have a pretty comfortable setup. And yes, this is our kitchen. Pretty basic setup, little two-burner stove, had a esky, good for keeping all my food cold, and also just as like a chuck box, you could chuck other things in there because I wasn't using it anywhere near capacity. Had a little folding chair and a two-man tent. Got some dinner on because you really need to get an early night, so lamb and rice that night, pre-cooked. Get up and get out in that water in the morning. This is where it's at, guys. This is why you come here. Check this place out. I'm just going to shut up because you really need to hear it. It's great. I love it out here. Oh man, this is it, isn't it? This is so good. It's like a little bird's nest just here. Right in this tree next to me. Super cool. So after returning to my beach for a little bit of breakfast, I decided to head out again and head up to campsite 9. Now, it's pretty hard to see any place along the bank here you can pull over, but I did find a place and I just wanted to climb up and see what was beyond those trees. Bucket loads of nothing. Yeah, I'm going to try and get back into the canoe, which is down here. So there's an unscheduled stop. But yeah, just looks interesting. Let's hope I can get back into the canoe without going into the water. I'd like to share a canoeing tip with you if you happen to be canoeing by yourself. This is the first probably big trip that I've done by myself. When I say big, you know, it's, I don't know, I'm probably going to do about 20 kilometers probably in total. I'm just coming back from what will be about 14 kilometers today. And I've only just figured this out, and I thought I'd share it with you. So here it is. A lot of the time that I've been paddling, I've been putting both my feet out and straight in front of me like this. What I've found is if I put one foot behind the other like this, so I'm putting all my weight on this side, if you look at the front of the boat, you can also kind of lean your body a little bit. You'll like see that it starts to kind of veer off to this way. So like, put your feet both on this side when you're paddling on this side, and it'll kind of counteract. So the canoe's kind of wanting to do that, and you're paddling, which is trying to push it that way, and it kind of help. Well, you just get a lot more paddles, strokes, I should say. So just to be clear, when I paddle on the other side, I'm going to put this foot forward and I'm going to put this one back. I'm going to slightly lean over, and again, if I look at the front here, you'll like kind of see it. Oh, I might not do it. No, it's doing it for me. Yes, of course, it's going over this way. Yeah. So when I wasn't doing this and I just had my feet like this together, I was finding I was getting about four kind of strokes per side before I had to keep changing. And you know, not only do you have to keep changing and you kind of like lose some momentum in that, but like every time I change, I get like a little splash here, and this is like the second seat of the canoe, and it's where I kind of like store things that, you know, just put things there that I want to easy kind of reach, you know, and not all of them are, you know, water resistant, so I've thrown a tea towel over it and you can see it's getting wet. So by putting my feet like this and then paddling on the same side, it allows me to get a lot more strokes. You don't get as much splash across your stuff here. So I hope that tip's been helpful. Okay, just got back. Got a little visitor in camp. Check this guy out. Let's see if he wants to be on camera. That, my friends, is a lace monitor, otherwise known as a goanna. So he's probably about well, I'd say a medium-sized one. He'd probably be just under a metre, I'd say. I'm going to leave him alone, of course. It's his terrain, not mine. So do his thing. He'll probably climb up that tree in a moment. Probably certainly would if I walked towards him, but you know, I'm not here to freak him out, but yeah, just wanted to share that with you. So if you've checked out our website, you'd know that we are all about basically creating an experience and trying to make things as easy as possible when you go and unplug. So I wanted to share with you what I'm having for lunch today. So I've got this Japanese style salad bowl. So it's basically a prepared salad. It's like a sauce in there and everything else. Just gonna open that and put it on a plate, and a couple of steaks. Even came with a little, what is this, truffle butter, so that'll be nice. So basically just going to cook this, which will supposedly take 6 minutes, and just put this with it, and it's as simple as that. And I'm having a steak and a really nice salad, you know, down on the beach in a moment, and that's what I mean. It's super, super easy. All ready to go. My knife and fork and a proper steak knife. Some other silly stuff. Just after I finished my lunch, I've seen another little goanna across the. Well, let's see if I can zoom in and get him for you. There he is. Probably having a drink. No, I think he's heading up the hill. You know, I can tell. Yeah, he's heading up the hill. Yeah, they are in nature. Pretty cool, eh? And I've got a bush turkey as well. They're all coming out to play. These guys are a bit of a pest, really. Yeah, go away. More so that they scratch up people's gardens and stuff like that. They don't want to attack you or anything like that. They're placid. Cheeky buggers though. Anyway, I didn't come here to hang out with the local turkeys. There's a very special place that I want to show you. So we have to jump back in the canoe and we're going to head down to campsite 3. Now, campsite 3 is only about 1 kilometre down the road on the map, but it really only feels like about 500 metres. It's not very far at all. It's got a great little deck that you can pull up and tie your canoe to. And it's your chance to get out and grab your stuff because we're going on a hike. Now, you might be asking, where are you going, Fraser? I thought this was a canoeing trip, but I've got to show you the Cooloola Sandpatch. Definitely. It's definitely a goer. And it's a moderate walk. It's 11 kilometres from campsite 3. Starts off pretty nice and flat with, you know, pretty firm sand, and you get to go through some native Australian bush, which is, you know, always enjoyable. But before long, you're going uphill. And not only are you going uphill, but you're also going through soft sand. And believe me, that really starts to get very tiring. Well, I reckon I'm about halfway up this track to the Cooloola Sandpatch. Man, I wanted to get up there and do some filming before the sunset and then watch the moon come up. And so this is the first break I've had. And I'd forgotten that it's not only in sand, but it's mostly uphill. Anyway, I'll spin around. It's a great track. Have a look out here as well. It's just... oh, it's great. But yeah, if you're going to do it, well, they allow 5 hours return, which I think's, well, they always seem to predict a bit, you know, estimate a bit too much. But like, yeah, I remember when I came up with my kids were finding it pretty hard. But yeah, sand and uphill, guys. Definitely avoid the heat of the day. I'm coming up about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm sweating like anything. And it's winter, so be warned. Just got my first glimpse of the sand patch, and then I was welcomed with this. Like, look at this, man. Look at this. Oh, man. And just like that, we have arrived. Check this place out. Oh, man. Check this place out, man. You can see how I wanted to bring you here, eh? This is the kind of place where you can come and have a surreal experience and feel like you are in the middle of nowhere. It takes a while to explore, and there's a better way to see it. So let's go to air and see if we can cover this ground a little bit quicker. So as the sun sets beautifully in the west, we're going to have a bit of a pan around, and it's really only from up here that you can see the vast size of the Cooloola National Park. This is 2,196 kilometres of untouched native Australian bush. You can see saltwater lakes, a freshwater lake, mountains in the distance, and you feel like you're on a desert on a mountain range. That there is the Pacific Ocean, and if we were to go down to the beach, that's Noosa North Shore, otherwise known as Tiwa Beach. So a bit of a shout out to my UK friends I like taking camping up there. Terry and John and Amy, Rich and Luke. Anyway, it's up here that you can really get a sense of just how remote this place is and how wonderful it is. I remember coming here nearly 30 years ago on a Duke of Edinburgh award scheme trip, and we saw it by moonlight. And it just blew my mind to be up on this desert on a mountain range looking out over the ocean and lakes and everything else. So that's why we've come up here at sunset, because the evening show is just as awesome. In fact, I'd planned this whole trip because it was not only going to be very close to a full moon, but it was going to be clear skies. And I actually had to wait about 3 hours before the moon came up. So I got quite well acquainted with the Milky Way. I always get very humbled and have a great childlike sense of wonder looking at stars. And then I thought the moon was going to rise up, and it was really just light pollution from Noosa, and then it was. There it was. It appeared on the horizon, and I knew I had to rise a fair bit before I could take some decent photography. My camera wasn't really going to pick up the light too well, but I did manage to get this time lapse so you can watch a moonrise. How cool is that? And then, yes, it all came on. These are photos that I took, hung up there to do, and the place was just as amazing as I remembered it, and just so many amazing sights. We even saw a kangaroo, or is that just another Aussie bush turkey? Anyway, after the trip, it's time to go back down the walk, and the walk back down by moonlight was spooky. I'm not really someone to get kind of easily spooked, but it was just kind of spooky, like, what's that shadow there, you know, and all that sort of stuff. Finally got back to the canoe and jumped in the canoe and went back to the campsite. Got a very... I just went straight to bed. And the next morning, didn't really feel like doing much. Just sat around, had coffee, looked at my blisters, and before heading off back home again. And rather than leave it on blisters, you know, let's show you some more of that footage of the mist coming up over the water in the morning. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So that's pretty much wraps up this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you do enjoyed it, then I'm not going to go into that whole like and subscribe thing. I want to do something different. Let's have some fun, let's say. If you really enjoyed this video, then be good to your mother and wash your dog. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye.